Hello traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Roku. I haven't done Roku in a while. It used to be a go-to. I did it all the time because the fan asked for it. These days they're busy with other exciting stuff. Well, meanwhile, in the disclosure, first of all, I don't have any trades on it. I haven't written it up, recommended it as an official trade to the members in a while. Not that I remember. So this is an unbiased opinion. Furthermore, this comes from a prior not hater, doubter of the business. And since the streaming became norm, they have accelerated their P&L growth, and now they have shut me up on that. I used to bitch about, hey, where are the profits? Where are the profits? Where are the profits? And they finally turned the corner. And not only that, now they have an impressive growth trajectory on the P&L, like an official one. So if I look at the income statement, the revenues went from $500 million to $2 billion. Trailing 12 months. So pretty impressive, and it's profitable. Also, most importantly, I think, is what changes the game for growth companies is when they start creating cash from their own operations, so they don't need to borrow to exist. That was the game changer in Tesla, and they have positive numbers there as of 2020. So maybe the pandemic was great for them. Human tragedy, of course, but if I have a bone to pick with it, it's value, but not like you think. Like, this doesn't scare me. PE, who cares? They're growing fast. They're supposed to overspend. This one, relative to itself, the price to sales. This is where hope lives in the stock price. This is where, if I'm buying the shares today, I'm giving it 28 years worth of sales. So it's not outrageous. Not anymore. It used to be. But it is not cheap from that perspective. Relative to itself, relative to growth companies. I'll give you an example. Amazon is 4, maybe lower. 4. So Apple 8, Facebook, Microsoft somewhere around between 9 and 12, I can't remember. Tesla is in the 20s, like 21 or 18, I can't remember. Just to give you absolute comparisons. Not that they are comparables. So it's not cheap, but that is not a reason to short it or fade it. I do, however, say one thing. So if somebody says, hey, what do you think of Roku now? My answer would be very simple. This is not an obvious point of entry. If I'm a momentum trader and I think I can eke out another $6 to close the gap, maybe, but the easy work is done. This is like a 50% rally off the bottom in May. This is like a 30% eyeball, 25, 30% rally from here. So they had a push, they consolidated, they had another equal push, although at a phenomenal rate. That is insane. Going into a prior fail. Now, as soon as I say fail, somebody's going to get upset. I'm not saying short the company. That's definitely not the right stock to short. I'm not even via puts or put spreads. Why pick a fight with a winner? I'm just saying that if I buy it here, I am opening myself up to disappointment. So I would rather miss out on this much upside than to give somebody else their profits and buy them off their hands, to be the last person holding the bag, so to speak. Add to it that the market's at all-time highs and making records, so the whole situation is getting wrapped up in like an orgy of buying, and I just don't want to be on board. Now, I'll give you more important details. Now, follow the logic. So I'm going to declutter this and show you how impressive the ramp has been and how to trade the last 5 or 6 monthly candles. So what? Monthly candles, Nick? What the hell are you talking about? Let me show you. So this is a monthly chart. So from the beginning, not of its existence. It's an old company. But every candle is 1 month. So this is June, and it's not over. You're saying, whoa, pretty impressive. Well, we still have a few days. It could be, but let me talk you through how we got here. Okay, so let's go from here. This November last year, pandemic, out of it. So huge, very bullish candle. Why? They opened here, and then they tried to drop a little bit, but then they closed in a huge rally at the very top. Then they followed it up with a strong month. They opened here the whole month of December. They tried to drop it, but then they tried to rally, and then they closed off the highs, but still an impressively strong month after a very big month, after 3 or 4 big ones. So Very convincingly bullish rally, right? Then they did the same thing here. But look at the high here, and they left it, and they still closed at a record high. Then this comes the question mark. So this is still, quote, green, but it opened and closed pennies away. So for all intents and purposes, for a whole month, it opened on day 1 and closed on day 30. What month is that? February? However many days we have in February. It closed exactly where they opened, but in the process, they left a massive tail. So somewhere during the month, they had a candle that looked like this, and then they gave it back and came back and said, no, you know what? We don't know. Let's just decide next month. Here's what happened next month. An incredibly bearish candle for the month of March. Why? Because February to March. Okay, so they opened here. They tried to rally, failed worse than the last 2 months, and then closed closer to the lows, below the open, and below the close of December. So they took a few steps backwards in time. That's fine. But since then, they've struggled with these tails. So now they're chasing tails, and let me explain to you how. This is also a doji candle, indecisive. They left the tail above and small tail below. This one is exactly the opposite of this one. They left the tail below. So they're saying, I don't want to be down here. So I know this is support. That's what they're saying. That's the action. Price is truth. They came back and closed exactly where they opened. They didn't have anywhere near the exuberance of the other ones. Then comes this month. They opened here, about where they closed last month. They faded at some point, and now they're uber rallying, right? Where they close is super important. They beat 2 months back. They still haven't beat that massively failure. That's big failure at 430. I'm rounding 429 and change. And this is on a monthly basis. So look at the date, okay? March 1st. I'm going to zoom back in to show you the bunch of candles that made up this long tail. Now again, they're chasing tails, these 3 tails. If they can beat it and close above it, then they would shut me up about this candle. All right, so let's go down to 1 day. This is the cluster. No, wait, I forget the number now. Okay, somewhere on here, right? To close the gap. And then we have this long high values that they need to get through. Get to and get through are 2 different things. The candles they're fighting now was early March from that monthly candle, and it's these guys, right? So they need to, that was that bearish red candle development that happened out of the blue. Now, this wasn't all their fault. For some reason, the markets spit out tech. You remember March 3rd through 5th, I think 8th was the last of the mega caps to bounce or find a bottom. For some reason, Roku continued on for another leg lower. Regardless, that was a good entry, whoever caught it. And then if they caught it again, boy, they made a lot of money. So it is an actively traded stock. It makes for a good trader. And the easy way to trade it on big dips, I should buy it. That I can't believe. I mean, I have an alert here. It didn't fire off. I don't know when I set that alert. Shame on me for not having it before. In fact, I'm going to add more just so I don't miss it the next time around. So it's almost a blind buy. Depends on the environment. Like if the whole market is falling apart and we have new information, I might change my mind. But at least I want to look at it. So too late for me to join. Let it party all by itself. I'm fine with that. Chasing tails up here, and then of course the big failure up top. So they had 2 monthly tails, if I remember correctly, that they're chasing, and onus is on the bulls to break through from a prior failure. They need to do it. So it would be such a disappointment if they fade from here. Right? These are just incredibly bullish candles on on accelerating volume. So it's pretty impressive. Let me zoom in a little bit to see if we can get some more information. This is a 2-hour chart. So this is the peak from March 2nd. Same candle at a smaller time frame. All right. So it's a pretty complex price action in this thing. It's fun to watch. You need a neck brace and some Dramamine, and you'll be fine.